Is the audio on? This one? Yes. And which, this here? Yeah. Just one. Okay, good morning everybody, and thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today about screencasting, a tool which I believe rises to the challenge of getting our students to engage with feedback. My name is David Cranny, I'm from the School of Business and Humanities from the Dundalk Institute of Technology. The proposed learning intentions for today, if we can get this to move on, is to give you some examples of principles of good feedback practice. To use technology without pedagogy is useless. A second area is to give you an exemplar of a screencast that I give to one of our students, just to play about a 20-second clip so you can see it in action. And then lastly, to suggest a possible framework for you to follow should you wish to give it a go. So what I'm focusing on here is the importance of feedback. Phil Ray's comments about this, he's commented quite widely about it, but I cemented this quote because he says, well, if assessment is the engine that drives learning, then the ways, manners and means in which we provide our feedback is effectively the lubricating oil and gearing that it ensures that maximum effect is achieved by all. And that's by all, that's our students and ourselves. Woe betide the time when we get our submissions in and we look, oh my goodness, is that what I'm talking? You know, this is what they're submitting. For the students, our assessment process is a very emotive task. They investigate a lot of time in it, a lot of effort in it. So consequently, the way in which we provide our feedback to them can be hugely motivating or demotivating, depending on how we scaffold it. To continue on this theme, a number of seminal authors are publishing in this area in the past and presently. I've just cited a few of them at the moment, but Hadley and Timperley talk about it to say if we want students to raise their achievement levels, we must be cognizant of the way in which we present our feedback, in that it can help scaffold the learning experience. As I said, we go back to it can be hugely motivating or demotivating depending on how we do it. And then lastly, Bloxham and Boyd, Gibson Simpson, David Carles in particular, he's not cited here but he's publishing extensively on this. Feedback is one of the most important aspects of student learning experience. So that was, say, one of the drivers behind what I was looking to do. But ultimately, if we look at the most relevant practice in my belief presently, I go back to 2006. There are other seminal authors, but it doesn't matter how we provide our feedback to our students, be it written, be it oral, whatever it is, that if we follow the principles of good practice as suggested by David Lincoln and Deborah McFarlane, we should be following these things. Our feedback should clarify what good performance is, help facilitate the development of reflection and self-assessment and learning, delivering high quality specific information to students about their learning, encourages peer and tutor dialogue. That's particularly an area that David Carles is publishing on presently, encourages positive motivational beliefs on behalf of the students and indeed staff, provides opportunities to close the gap between where students are and where they want to go. And then lastly, it can help us as tutors shape our teaching. So that's the pedagogy behind what I was looking to do. So what is screencasting? Screencasting is a freely available tool you can access online, which captures all of your mouse movements, your spoken word, any annotations that you make on your screen, and then you can save that directly as a video file or as a hyperlink, which can then be circulated back to the students. And this is what I'm using to provide students with their feedback on a second year sports exercise and enterprise program on a multi-stage assessment. So this is what I'm going to be presenting to you now at the moment. This is the definition of Karen Light. Why use it? Well, unlike traditional written feedback, screencasting is good in the fact that there's not a loss of annotation between your generalized comments on your let's say your written page, whatever it is. Students can see specifically what you're referring to because you're pointing to it and you're speaking about it. It provides a richer feedback. It's a conversational approach. You're speaking to your students. And for students, they're saying in the research that it demonstrates a sense of caring on behalf of the lecturer to take a vested interest in the work. In audio-visual feedback, and audio feedback is more depth. On average, it says 1 minute of spoken word equates to 100 words of written text. That's on average. We'd say access to flexibility, key resource that it has. The students, once it's placed on a VLE and they've got internet access, they can access it anywhere, anytime, and any place. And there is a potential for time saving in the long term in the quality of say subsequent submissions afterwards. But we we put a question mark beside that last one. So what is the screen capture process? I want to show you a little clip of this. Hopefully this will work. Only about 20 seconds of this to show you. Hey Jodie, thanks very much for submitting. I can just see visually, just from looking at it straight up, your Bahar pages are quite different from your original submission, which is good. So I'd like to think you've taken on board some of the feedback from just looking through it. Some of it you've taken on board, some you haven't. I'm glad to see you moved your warm-up and stretching activity to the front, and perhaps a little bit of an area being made to improve this. Perhaps put in a YouTube clip of a video, a type of warm-up activity that you could use. That's something just. So that's just a very brief overview of it. This little project that I did was based on the work of Jones et al. 2012. You can see here it's an 8-stage approach. Students are issued with their assignment, they run it through their VLE, the lecturer creates a screencast, they then put that back through the VLE, the students look at it. I was interested in seeing what happens here. There's a gap. What are they doing with the feedback? So that was the process of this little project, this small mixed methods project. The learning experience, 40 students are on the programme, 28 submitted for formative feedback, 22 submitted, completed an online anonymous questionnaire, and we also ran a focus group that was facilitated by a colleague who doesn't teach the students to avoid some bias. We did this approach to ensure some methodological triangulation. I'm not going to go through all this. Overarchingly positive. The mean score for students' experience or the engagement with it was 4.54 or above based on a Likert scale. But the things, we give them a free text opportunity to talk to us, to tell us what they thought about it. And this is overwhelmingly positive. And can I just say, this is verbatim text. So there's, I don't know many ways I've seen understanding, understandable, they've all said more or less similar stuff. But the thing that jumped out at me was helpful, easy, clear, personal, excellent, simple. They liked it. Screencasting appeals to the everyday communication tools that our students are using, this audiovisual tool. On the focus group, we're going to focus on this area here. This is the big thing. How did they engage with it? This is closing this gap. And they engage with it two ways. They watched their screencast on average 4 times, and that ties in with the work of a guy called Bob Rotherham from the UK, the Silence Group project. But more importantly, they applied the feedback that they were given to their subsequent submissions. So they were drilling down and using it. And 2 verbatim quotes that we have here from the students. I suppose the first one that ties into David Carlos's dialogical or face-to-face approach that he talks about. It's something like a one-to-one meeting with a laptop. It's not really, if that makes sense. So that's verbatim. And I was the same. I watched it, I paused, applied. The thing I was interested in here, I corrected my mistakes. I paused it, I played it again, paused and played. They were working their ways through it. So was I closing the feedback loop? I would suggest for this small-scale mixed methods approach, for this study, yes. What we're finding here, this is the gap that I talked about earlier. The students applied and modified their work based on the suggestions from the lecturers. So, to bring it together, does it save you time? Depends on the quality of feedback versus your typing or writing speed. Do you need to be a technophile? No. There's a number of freely available online tutorials to help you work through it. Can students actually readily access their feedback? Yes, they can, once they can access the internet. Does it not be wear off for students and staff? That remains to be investigated. So the guidelines, should you wish to give it a try, just bear with me on this. Have a good quality microphone, they want to be able to hear you. Secondly, do not expect you to be Matt Cooper. Be yourself, talk to them. That's what they're used to in your classes. Say hi, student name. Hi John, which assignment you give feedback on? Keep your recording short, no more than 6 minutes. Any more than that, you're going to overload them, you're going to zoom out. Always address the assessment criteria so it's clear and transparent. Always try to be positive, even when the work isn't so good. You have to distill and try to pull out some nuggets for them to help them improve. Offer a few reasonably attainable suggestions for improvement, even when the work is excellent. Research is telling us when students submit high quality work, they want to be told that it's high quality, but also you need to encourage them to replicate that performance. Provide the grade band that the work is in for formative submissions. Write things on off in a friendly way. Thanks very much for submitting, Patter. Generate a hyperlink. Well, put the file onto Moodle. Once it's on Moodle, it's a one-stop shop and it facilitates good record keeping. So to pull it all together, Screencasting is an unbelievable medium. It engages students, but it's only as good as the message contained within it. The key task I'd like to draw your attention to here is the Y1 feedback project that we've been involved with. It's a cross-collaboration project involving 4 HDI institutes in Ireland. I'd encourage you to look at the Twitter handle and the website for further information. Thanks very much.